President Ali announces $2.6 billion in relief measures for ordinary Guyanese. Guyana Police Force investigating fatal accident on the east coast of Demerara. In the region, flood warnings in Haiti as tropical storm follows earthquake, and internationally, India outbreak, COVID infections in Kerala raises concerns. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Last evening, President Irfan Ali announced over $2.6 billion in relief measures for ordinary Guyanese. These measures will target pensioners, persons who collect public assistance, and Guyanese who consume no more than 75 kilowatt hours of electricity per month. According to President Ali, the measures are geared towards helping ordinary Guyanese throughout these difficult times.
Pensioner in every community. Secondly, a one-off grant of $25,000 to all public assistance recipients and persons with disabilities. This grant will benefit more than 25,000 persons and place more than $600 million of additional disposable income into their pockets, the pockets of the vulnerable, those who are in our society and part of the group of persons with disability, and also the recipient of public assistance. These persons too will get a one-off grant of $25,000 each.
President Ali also stated that public assistance recipients and people with disabilities will benefit from an additional $25,000. He said that this would place over $600 million of additional income into their pockets.
A one-off grant of $25,000 to all old age pensioners, equivalent to 1 month of old age pension. This grant will benefit almost 65,000 persons and place an additional $1.6 billion of disposable income in the hands of our elderly. I wish to reiterate that this $25,000 one-off grant is equivalent to 1 additional month of pension for every Guyanese pensioner. Every Guyanese pensioner in every community.
An electricity credit will also be paid to GPL on behalf of the households consuming not more than 75 kilowatts per hour per month. The credit to each household will be equivalent to 1 month of their electricity bill and will inject more than $200 million of disposable income into more than 40,000 households. The president also stated that $7.8 billion payment package for farmers and households impacted by the May-June flooding will begin later this week. Police are investigating a fatal accident that occurred on the east coast of Demerara, resulting in the death of one person. Esther Sobers has more.
The police are investigating a fatal accident on Monday at around 5 p.m. on the Melnie-Damishana Public Road, East Coast, Demerara. Dead is 42-year-old Shazim Hussein of Enterprise Squatting Area. Hussein was hit by a motor car PXX 5404 driven by 27-year-old Ramzan Muhammad of Little Bishbu Mahaika River, East Coast, Demerara. Police inquiries disclosed that the motor car was proceeding west along the public road when the driver alleged that the pedocyclist rode across the road into his path, causing a collision. As a result, the pedocyclist fell, receiving injuries to his body. The 42-year-old man was picked up by public-spirited citizens and taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital. He was pronounced dead on arrival. The body is currently at the Georgetown Public Hospital mortuary, awaiting a post-mortem examination. A breathalyzer test was conducted on the driver of the car. No trace of alcohol was detected. Investigations are ongoing. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. Taxi driver robbed by armed bandits and woman busted with narcotics at Ogle Airport.
On the 23rd of August at 4 p.m., the doors for Flavors Hotel, Restaurant and Bar will be opening. We are just opening our doors for the public. Being a new restaurant, a new establishment, we want to get kitchens in place, the bar in place, the employees, the staff, the service, so that by the 28th, the grand opening, all systems are in place. There are no falters. Our bar is far beyond anywhere else. We've got lots of specialty drinks that I'm sure Guyana is going to appreciate. Our food is unsurpassed. We have a specialty menu with a certain type of steak, certain type of fish. It's unsurpassed. We bring professionalism to Guyana. You get the best entertainment 7 days a week. We have entertainment. I'm a stickler for jazz, Sunday jazz. I'm pushing jazz. I've got a couple of jazz bands that will be here every Sunday at 6. So please come by. Very creative person, creative in the kitchen. I'm actually a contractor that builds restaurants and bars. So I've kind of perfected the art in Atlanta and New York. And I decided to bring a bit of America to Guyana.
#1 hangout spot, Flavors Hotel, Restaurant, Bar.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Go to school so that someday I can do something to make a difference.
I'm the first in my family to attend the university, and I won't be the last.
I want my daughter to be able to hold her head up high in this world as a proud, educated woman.
Education has changed my life by giving me the opportunity to make it better.
Welcome back. Police are investigating an alleged robbery under arms of a taxi driver at Covent-John Public Road, East Coast, Demerara yesterday around 6:45 p.m. by two armed bandits with a knife. The man was robbed of his silver Toyota Primo motorcar PXX 4041 valued at $1.5 million. Report says that the victim left his home around 6:30 p.m. on the day in question to make a pickup at Giftland Mall. On his way down in the vicinity of Hope Turn, East Coast, Demerara, he observed two passengers stopping his car. He stopped and picked up the men who requested to go to Strathspey Village. One of the men sat in the front seat, while the other sat in the back behind the driver. While the victim was driving on the Covent-John Public Road in the vicinity of the Guyana Women's Leadership Compound, the man seated behind the driver placed a knife to his neck and demanded him to stop the car, which he did. They then forced him out of the vehicle and escaped with it. The man reported the matter to the police. Investigations are ongoing. A woman was busted with narcotics at the Ogle International Airport after she was observed by officials acting anxious. Esther Sobers has the details.
On Monday evening, the Guyana Police Force conducted a search at the Eugene F. Karai International Airport, Ogle, for the luggage of a 34-year-old self-employed female of New Street, Cumberland, Kanji, who was at the time an outgoing passenger at the Caribbean Airlines flight BW217 destined for Barbados. The search was prompt after the woman was seen acting suspiciously. During the search of her luggage, the law enforcement rank found several furnished packets of milk among clothing and other items. As a result of the discovery made, the ranks opened and tested the contents of the furnished packets using a narcotics testing kit, during which there was an indication of narcotics suspected to be cocaine. As a result, the female suspect was told of the offense committed, arrested, and cautioned. Initially, she remained silent, but subsequently she claimed that someone whose name was withheld had given her the items to take to Barbados. As a result of this new information, the second suspect was contacted, told of the offense, arrested, and cautioned. He admitted to giving the woman the stuff but denied knowing about the suspected narcotics. They were both escorted to the Criminal Investigation Department Narcotics Branch and placed into custody. The suspected cocaine was weighed and amounted to 4.873 kilograms. Investigations are ongoing. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. Flood warnings in Haiti as tropical storm follows earthquake, and Sri Lanka teachers strike over extremely low pay. But before that, here is the bridge retraction schedule.
Forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
For decades, milk has remained the same. Until now. Introducing the Great Dairy Full Cream Milk from Alabama Trading. Enriched with vitamins A to D and calcium to promote healthy teeth, strong bones, and vitality. Great Dairy Milk is delicious and fortified to encourage healthy cell growth within the body. No wonder it's the #1 brand of milk produced in Ireland. Now available nationwide in 400-gram packages at leading supermarkets and wholesale vendors. Distributed by Alabama Trading.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop price smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Tropical storm Grace has made landfall in Haiti with reports of flooding in some areas hit by Saturday's earthquake. Aid workers are afraid that the storm might bring with it flash floods and landslides, hampering the search for survivors. More than 1,400 people have died in the 7.2 magnitude earthquake. Al Jazeera's John Holman reports.
Haiti is still reeling from Saturday's earthquake. Every day more bodies are found and the death toll continues to rise. But even as the country mourns those already lost, another potentially ruinous problem has arrived. Tropical Storm Grace, with the risk of flash floods, landslides and yet more obstacles hampering the search for survivors. It's a fresh challenge for the government and aid organisations already struggling to get help to a disaster area down a road gangs are battling over. The UN has allocated $8 million to help.
Our humanitarian colleagues are telling us that access to the southern peninsula where the quake hit is challenging because gangs are controlling movements.
Haiti's Prime Minister did make it to the seafront town of Le Cay, one of the worst affected cities.
When I arrived in the south of the country, we saw the destruction. Many houses are destroyed. Rescue teams are working to find victims and survivors in the rubble. One thing I noticed was the dignity of the people despite the situation. They are affected but resilient. They fight to survive.
But even before the storm, the scenes were desperate. Football fields sprawled with survivors, forced to shelter with the few belongings they have left.
Since the earthquake, I didn't feel well. We're on the football field, our home is destroyed, we can't drink the water, and many people are staying here.
Crisis on top of crisis. Last month, the country's president was assassinated. Gang violence continues. And in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Haiti's only just begun its vaccination campaign. Many here are also still traumatised by events further back, the 2010 earthquake that killed hundreds of thousands of people in Port-au-Prince. And in the capital, many people have been sleeping out in the streets, worried about the aftershocks from this earthquake. Well, they're not going to be able to do that now. The storm is here, Haiti is suffering, and the bad news keeps on coming. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Port-au-Prince.
Internationally, hundreds of thousands of students in Sri Lanka have had their schooling disrupted by teachers who are on strike. The teachers are demanding better pay and are refusing to do even online teaching or exam preparations. Al Jazeera's Manila Fernandez has more.
Ashani and Minari are trying to stay on top of their schoolwork. The sisters who attend a government school in Colombo have public exams in a few months. But their teachers have stopped conducting online classes as part of a trade union action demanding better pay.
It's difficult to study the syllabus by ourselves. There's a lot to cover, especially with the final exams coming.
The girl's mother, Sita, works as a maid 3 days a week. Their father is a builder. They say they cannot afford to pay private tuition for any of their 4 children.
It's families like us, day-wage earners, that are the worst affected. We only have school or online classes to rely on. That's why we're worried.
Sri Lanka's Ceylon Teachers Union is on an indefinite strike, which keeps them away from online teaching, exam preparation, paper correction, and other duties. It says 25 years of waiting for better pay is more than enough.
The lowest paid teachers in South Asia are in Sri Lanka. This is truly an embarrassing situation. India's salaries are more than double those paid here. We say increase our salaries immediately. The government won't do anything about it. We will continue our struggle till they do.
Successive reviews have agreed that the salary disparity between teachers and other government employees must be addressed. But the government says teachers will have to wait for the proper procedure to get the wage hike.
The procedure is the budget. We've already begun to make plans to present the necessary documents as part of the budget. This issue has to be resolved through the budget and be presented in that framework.
But the teachers are not buying it. They say the government is spending millions of dollars on unnecessary projects and can easily sort out the teacher salary issue if there is a will to do so. Recent weeks have seen some of the largest demonstrations by the 250,000-strong union. Heavy-handed police action during the coronavirus pandemic to arrest and quarantine protesters has drawn criticism from the teachers and affiliated trade unions.
The government is trying to suppress us. We will not be coward and we will take our struggle forward.
While the government fights teachers on salary differences that have lasted for decades, students in over 10,000 government schools like the one behind me bear the brunt of the work stoppage.
Students like Ashani and Minari will be hoping the strike will be over soon so they can carry on with their studies. Minna Fernandez, Al Jazeera, Colombo.
And finally, once praised for controlling the pandemic, the state of Kerala along the Arabian Sea has become the COVID-19 hotspot in India. Roughly 9% of all Indians have been vaccinated across the country. Al Jazeera's Pavni Mattel reports.
This major shopping street in Kerala's Alappuzha district is unusually deserted for this time of year. The state is in the middle of Onam, its biggest festival and shopping season. Bindu Krishna is weaving a marigold garland used for Onam decoration. After months of closure, vendors like her were finally allowed to set up shop. But celebrations have been muted and demand has been slow because of rising COVID-19 infections across the state.
The government should decide. Sometimes they allow us to open, sometimes they want us to close. What will poor people like us do? If they ask us to shut shop after Onam, we'll be in great trouble.
Once praised for controlling the pandemic, Kerala has now become the COVID-19 hotspot in India. The local government has eased restrictions for the festival, and state police have been deployed to enforce mask mandates and prevent crowding. There are rules requiring shoppers to either get a negative PCR test or show proof of vaccination. But shopkeepers say these are hard to implement and are affecting business during peak season.
Business has become really difficult. Since the pandemic started, we have been forced to shut our shops. Even when the markets open, the police comes in and we have to request them to let us run our shop so we can make some money.
With a high number of infections, experts say Kerala and India's northeast are still in second wave of the pandemic, which could lead to a surge in other states. Roughly 9% of all Indians have been vaccinated across the country.
Unless we are seeing above 60% of the population vaccinated and preferably up to 80%, everywhere, we cannot really say that India is safe. Because if there are large pockets of unvaccinated population in different parts of India, the pandemic could actually flare up there or new variants could arise there.
But despite a high vaccination rate, Kerala's positivity rate is above 15%, prompting the central government to give more than $30 million to strengthen its health services. Pavni Mittal, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, stay safe and take care.